has taken over.
Let's go.
It's Ferrall.
Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
All right, we got Coach Young here. We're very excited as we get into the final hour. And we've been talking about the NBA Finals. We've been talking about the Knicks and everything that's going on today with firing Thibodeau. So we got a double shot with Coach. And we'll start it off with that. I just heard you talking about Johnny Bryant. And I know this other guy, Odd, is that his name? That they're talking about for the Suns job, which is the kiss of death job. Like this, Ishbia, whatever his name is. I don't have anything to do with that guy. Like he's that franchise a mess. And what have they gone through? 5 coaches in 5 years? Like it's embarrassing. I don't care what they do. You can have that sandwich. What I care about is what the Knicks are doing today, firing this guy. Now, everyone's a genius when they fire someone. Oh, he was first thing I heard my son say, he sucked. He was terrible. Terrible. He won 56% of the games. I mean, Coach, honestly, in the NBA, if you win 51%, they give you an extension and $100 million. If you win 52, 53, 55%, you're in God's land. 56% is insane. Playoffs 4 or 5 years, goes to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they still whacked his ass. That's Marty Schottenheimer stuff, like losing. You win 14 games and they fire Schottenheimer back in the day in the NFL. Did you see this coming? And did you think they were really going to fire this guy? And they fired Michael Malone after he won an NBA championship 2 years later.
You know, it's interesting, Ferrall. I thought he was going to come back, and then the more I started thinking about it, there was a chance, right? You know, game 1 is where he lost his job. You know, that big, huge lead down the stretch. But there was interesting. There's been like little things being said. Deuce McBride talked about stuff coming to the surface that wasn't really talked about during the season. Then there was a report about the players frustrated with Cat, and that dropped as soon as they lost. Listen, Tibbs, the Knicks have the 8th best record in the NBA over the last 5 years. The Knicks that couldn't make the playoffs for 7 years before that had the 8th best record in the league over the last 5 years. So when you look at New York, it's a team where if they think that they could not get any further with Tibbs, and let's be honest, Ferrall, I thought that, Rick Carlisle the last 2 years completely outcoached him. So to me, yeah, maybe you shuffle the deck with the coach. Now, when you get down to candidates, Johnny Bryant is the name that's coming up a lot now. Why? Number 1, he's a finalist for the Phoenix job, so if the Knicks had to make a move, they have to make a move quickly. Number 2, Johnny Bryant was the associate head coach for Tom Thibodeau, but he was not brought in by Tibbs. He was brought in by World Wide West and Leon Rose. He's got a very good relationship with Jalen Brunson, but he left to go to Cleveland because of he's really close with Donovan Mitchell. So that's why you're hearing that name. Listen, you're going to hear Michael Malone, championship coach, experienced coach from New York City, can coach defense, can deal with superstars. You see him in press conferences, is not going to be scared of the environment. That's why you're hearing his name a lot. 2 other names, maybe 3 other names, and these are probably all home, like long shots. Number 1, you're going to hear Jay Wright.
We heard that. We're bored with that. We're bored with that. We're on this show. We're bored with that. He's not coaching anymore. Let's stop talking about him.
I respectfully, I will say this. Jay Wright did not leave because he didn't want coaching. Jay Wright left because he didn't want to deal with the NIL. It's completely different than the NBA. Not saying he's taking it, but I'm just saying that. 4, Taylor Jenkins. I think he got a raw deal in Memphis. I think he's a hell of a coach. He's done a good job. He took that team to a far place. And it's because of the injuries and because of Ja. The injuries and Ja is why that team did not win, right? The last one, this is where nostalgia comes in, and you're going to hear Knick fans say this. When is someone going to give Mark Jackson another chance? He did a good job with Golden State.
We haven't heard that one yet. We heard Danny Hurley, but we haven't heard that one.
Hurley is the last guy because Hurley, one of the reasons why Hurley did not go to the Lakers is Hurley's a Jersey guy. his roots are here. He was not, it was too hard to uproot his family. So that's why you hear Hurley is because of the ties to the New York City area. Plus, he's got friends in that front office. The Jackson thing is intriguing because he was an unbelievable coach with Golden State. You talk to Steph, Draymond, Clay, they all give him credit for building them up for Steve Kerr to come in on his white horse and get them to the title. So those are the guys. But to me, more than anything, it's Malone or Johnny Bryant. My thought is it's going to be Johnny Bryant because of the timing, that the fact that as soon as he got named a finalist for the Phoenix job, New York's jumped and fired Tibbs.
Yeah, listen, you're probably right. I would never second guess you. I love you too much to second guess you. But, like, I got a problem with firing Tom Thibodeau for Johnny Bryant, okay? Like, you might as well, my mother is dead. She might as well be named the coach. Johnny effing Bryant is going to take the job of the Knicks. No one's ever heard of him before except players.
No, but Ferrall.
If he's so great, how come he's never coached?
Because of the fact that since he's come to New York, they went to Cleveland. They had the best record in the East, and he's getting a lot of credit to the point where
he still got their ass beat.
Hey, listen, they did get their butt kicked. The same team that beat the Knicks. So to me, that's maybe more like how good of a coach of Carlos. Really quick, Ferrall. The reason why Johnny Bryant makes sense is because of the relationship. You know this, Ferrall. This is all a relationship business. I don't think the Knicks fired Tibbs today without knowing who they think is going to be the coach. Because Tibbs did a great job. But the problem with Tibbs had is this. Number one, and it started with Bridges during the season, he runs his players down. They play too much. Number two, there's a lot of talk starting to come out of the area that guys didn't know their roles, if they were going to play, how much they're going to play, which means that's another talk about the bench. And then to see a team that played all season together, forget Mitchell Robinson, the rest of those guys, the way they defend Indiana, particularly ball screens, not switching, Cat being late on his coverage, a lot of stuff they did defensively made it seem like a team that really was not connected. And if that's the case, Ferrall, you know what the deal is. If you want to shuffle the deck and you don't have a lot of wiggle room with salary, you change the coach before you blow the whole thing up.
All right, fair enough. But let's calm down here. You go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now all of a sudden you suck, and you didn't do this right, you didn't do that right, you didn't screen, you didn't defend right, you didn't do this. Let me tell you another thing. Here's another bit of old man wisdom for you. McBride needs to shut the F up. Like, no one cares what you think anyway. Okay, bro? You got a nice J. Stay out of this. You have no say in this. Second of all, Cat Towns was the only brother that went to that 10 the entire playoffs. He drove to the rack every time he got the ball. I don't care if it was from the top of the key. I don't care what people say about him. He doesn't play defense, doesn't do that. My man went to the hole, into the trees, into the junk, and had it all going. He scored a lot. He did a lot. He bucketed. He dimed. He rebounded. He did everything. Mitchell Robinson busted his ass. Now all of a sudden they suck because of Tom Thibodeau. My ass. I don't want to hear it. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Last 2 years to the second round, they lost. Now all of a sudden they suck? Like, I don't want to hear it. I'll tell you what they sucked at. Leon Rose sucked at his job because he gave him 7 players. Not 9 to 12 players is what the Pacers have. The Knicks had 7 guys with 2 crappy other guys that are so old they should be playing with me. And don't even tell me I'm wrong.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers as a joke. Your boy went off about the entire situation and why it taken so long to forget him. Terry Bradshaw getting involved.
Yeah, and saying basically, what are you bringing him in for 1 year? All of this drama for 1 year at this guy, where he is now in his career is he's washed.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Coach and I go way back, and he just said in the break that there's something wrong with me. In other words, me. He's like, there's something wrong with you. Stay away from my family. You are demented. That's what he just said in the break. Luke heard the whole thing, and then I'm just trying, I'm just trying my best over here, and then he gives me the business. Like, you're demented. There's something wrong with you. You got a foul mouth. You're crazy. You're sick in the head. You're ahead of yourself. You don't know any of these people you're talking bad about. You're just a mean person. That's what I heard. And there was only 2 minutes. He got it all in. It was unbelievable. I still love him. I still go to lunch with him whenever I can. I still believe in him. He's a great coach. He's a great talent on television. Beautiful human being. He has a puppy.
We got a puppy.
He's all American. He knows now how to pick up doggy Deuce, like your boy Deuce. What's his name? Deuce McBride. He's now the voice of the Knicks. Deuce McBride now speaks for the Knicks. Shut up. Anyway, I want to know all of your picks here for the finals. And then I'm sure you have some WNBA snacks for me tonight. Thank God that you have all the action in the WNBA so people can make money, because I got better things to do, as you know, with my time. But I still believe in your bets, so I bet your bets. And then I don't have to watch. It's great. I just put the bets in, I make money, and then I don't have to watch that crappy league.
All right, everybody get your pens and paper, because I got a lot to say with picks. Let's start with the finals. I'm going to take the Indiana Pacers, not the Indiana Pacers, Oklahoma City Thunder, -2.5 games to -132. I think this is a 5-game series at most, Ferrall. Maybe you see a steal game one, but the Thunder are way too good. Everything that Indiana does, Oklahoma City does better. And don't sell me on Naismith, Nembrard, and Halliburton guarding someone like SGA. He's 6'6", not 6'1". Second, Lou Dort to make the most threes at 5-1. Folks, hear me out. I don't think it's Halliburton. And if I am Rick Carlisle, I'm going to give up something, because I can't match up with the other four. I'm talking about Hartenstein. I'm talking about Chet. And obviously I'm talking about Williams and SGA. So Lou Dort has the shot volume, and he gets the attempts and he knocks them down. Lou Dort, 5-1.
I like that. I like that.
And then lastly, Jalen Williams, 7-1 for the most total rebounds. Here is why. Right? The Siakam and Holmgren guard each other in perimeter, cancel each other out. Hartenstein and Miles Turner go to the perimeter, cancel each other out. Who comes flying in? Value play 7-1 for Jalen Williams to lead the series in total rebounds. Now let's go to the W. Ferrall's favorite play.
Oh, I love
We're going
it.
to Indiana Fever -5 tonight versus Washington Mystics. 83-77 loss. It was the first game without Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Mitchell shot 4 of 16 from the floor. Ain't no way in hell she shoots it that bad again. Well, she did shoot it that bad in game 2, but she'll shoot it better tonight. Kelsey Mitchell to go over her points, and the Fever -2 points. Mercury Lynx under 157. Do you know that the Phoenix Mercury have the second best defensive rating in the WNBA?
No.
Fourth is the Minnesota Lynx. Minnesota Lynx, slowest in pace of play. Phoenix, 9th in offensive efficiency. This has moved up in the last day from 156.5 to 157. Take the under. Lastly, Seattle Storm, it was 8.5, now it's up to 10.5 versus the Dallas Wings. No Paige Beckers. I know the Storm have lost 3 straight, but that was Atlanta, Minnesota, and Las Vegas. The Wings are god-awful. They just lost to the Sky twice, and I think the Sky are really, really bad. Give me -10.5 for the Seattle Storm. And 2 quick player props. Nafisha Collier over 23.5 points, averaging 26.3 points per game. Over 4 out of 6 games, missed one by the hook. And then Gabby Williams for the Seattle Storm, over 13.5 points. Gabby scored 14 or more in 3 straight games. 20-piece twice. She's playing well. Gabby Williams over 13.5 points.
So Joe said that, Joe Ranieri, the mayor of Miami, said, I think he said it, Mafia and Lucas, my witness, that the WNBA has become the WWE. It's so violent. And why is it that they've gotten, from basketball to basically like cheap shotting and hurting one another and trying to take each other's heads off and fighting? Like, is that not insane? Like, is that the league that they want to sell to the public?
I don't think that's the league they want to sell to the public. I wouldn't sell the WWE in regards to the physicality. I'll sell the WWE for the drama. Like the whole, I am one of those.
So that's
people
what they're looking for, is just phony drama in the W.
Listen, Ferrall, at the end of the day, they want people to watch this sport, right? So they'll put Caitlin Clark on TV all the time. Now they're screwed because now she's hurt for the next 2 weeks. And now they'll put someone like Angel Reese will play the villain. So claim racism. There wasn't racism. I guess there wasn't. But guess what? It made everybody talk about the WNBA way longer than they were talking about it before. They need ratings. This is a big year for the W. Ferrall, remember, they have not turned a profit. It's year 26. They've never turned a profit. This is the closest they're going to get this year. And these players go into negotiations. They're going to lock out the league. They're going to go on strike or get locked out after the season. They need viewership. So whatever WWE, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Angel Reese.
Where are they going to come up with that money, Coach? Where are they going to come up with all this money that the players think that is hidden somewhere? Where is that money coming from?
From a new TV deal is what they're hoping for. And they're banking in all honesty on Caitlin Clark. They're banking on Paige Beckers. And they're going to bank it on some of these other kids coming up.
And the teams that own, the owners of those teams are going to bank that money and hide it under their pillow from those players.
They're going to try.
I can guarantee you that.
Their biggest problem, Ferrall, is unrivaled with their revenue structure of how they kind of made the players part of the ownership and gave them more stake in the pie. Listen, at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark is like the 104th highest paid player in the league. I'll give you one better. A rookie in the WNBA gets $75,000. Do you know how much money Olivia Miles supposedly got to not go to the WNBA? How about this? Take the $75,000 and times it by about 12. That's what she got to go to TCU.
Well, why not? College women's basketball is better than the WNBA, hands down, and you know it is. And you know high school players that play better, and you can't even deny it.
I'll tell you this real quick. They better move that season to the winter because it's never going to work in the summer.
Everyone wants to go to a beach club with Coach.
Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalpost got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. This, I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
That was the funniest thing that I think I've ever seen. That phony Tom Thibodeau press conference with AI is absolutely. You got to admit, Joe, that was funny. I mean, that was.
Internet never loses, Scotty. It never loses. It never loses. That might be one of the greatest ones I've seen yet. Very good stuff with Coach Tips. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post it on my account.
How is it that people can do? They have the time to do that. Like, who comes up with that stuff? I need to get that guy a job. That was funny.
Exactly.
Honestly, That was really funny. Like, I have a stomach ache. I laughed so hard during that. All right, let's talk hockey because everybody loves hockey. The Panthers coach Paul Maurice talks here about how both teams got even better since last year.
We don't see each other enough to have a great handle on it, even though we played it this time last year. Their 2 elite offensive players are, by an order of magnitude, more offensively elite than most players in this league. So that makes them different. To say that they're a really good offensive team, well, they're an exceptionally special offensive team with those 2 players. And then I think both teams just got deeper. They're more experienced. Both teams got better at what wasn't necessarily their primary thing. They're a real strong offensive team, but they're a much better defensive team than they were. And we've always been a pretty strong defensive team. We've got a Selke Award winner in our middle there. And then we like to think we've improved our offensive game, especially in the back half of these playoffs. We've seen some growth and some offense. We spread it around. So we have a lot of guys that feel pretty good about their offensive game right now. So both teams improved in areas of, I would say, weakness, but they had good defensive players and we had good offensive players. But that was the area that weren't known for. We got better at the things maybe we weren't known for.
I got to be honest, Joe. I know Paul. I've known him for a long time. He was always very cool to me. Knew me in the league, knew me on the radio, did my show, blah, blah, blah. I think he's become hugely famous now because of this run he's had in South Florida. Like, no one gave a rat's ass about Paul Maurice ever in his entire career. He coached everywhere. and no one cared one lick about him. And then he went down there, and they built a special franchise. I mean, they are really unique. And you know what they remind me of in a little sense, to be honest with you, is Bill Belichick. I think they plug guys in to do jobs no matter what it is. Like last year, they win the cup. So this year, what do? They got all these different guys that were not on that team to buy in and do their job. Seth Jones. I mean, it goes on and on. Don't get me started on all they got. Mikola. They have all these guys that have a job to do, and they do them. And I thought Belichick did that. He brought guys in. Here's what you're going to do. This is your role. Don't do anything else. Do this better than everybody, and we'll win a Super Bowl. And they did. This team plugs guys in to do jobs, and then they go out and they make the Stanley Cup Finals every year. This is 3 times in a row, and they're going for 2 cups in a row. And I think it's made him rich and famous.
It had, the timing is everything, Scotty, right? I mean, much like the Belichick situation, was the Jets coach for a half hour. Then he's like, nope, I'm going to New England. I'm out of here. I know better. New England was hot trash for years prior to that. And you got to look at, you got new ownership here with the Panthers, right? Once Viola and company came in, took it over. Then all of a sudden, Coach Q has to get fired, right? All sorts of situations there. They bring in Paul Maurice to take over what was a talented team, but you brought in Bill Zito. You brought in the general manager that has put it all together. So all of those things, new ownership, new GM, and of course, right place, right time for Paul Maurice. And now you've got yourself with smart business decisions and actually recruiting and figuring out guys that would fit the right style to play here. It's no wonder we're looking at 3 years in a row here, Scotty, with a possible 2 cups.
So not only that, like Tampa, look at Tampa, what they did. And now look what Florida, what they've done. And they're all, living tax-free down there and winning Stanley Cups. Here's the coach of the Oilers. Do we have time for him? No? That's a no. Is that a yes or a no? That's a no. That is highly unfortunate. So what we'll do is
nobody wants to hear from the losing team anyway.
From Knobloch. We'll break down the series, break down game 1, and get it all in on a Tuesday on C2C.
Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalposts got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
So my apologies. I don't know what time it is anymore because I broke my thumb today playing basketball, and I've been in agony all day, and I've lost track of time. Mafia's like, you know what time it is and when the out is, and you know that Gentleman George is next, the old blue liner. Don't screw it up anymore. And I'm like, I'm sorry, my thumb is swollen. So here he is, George Kurtz. And thank God that he's on my side here. I'm sick of arguing with people about things. I've been arguing with people all day today on the show about coaching hires and everything else. And at least George is on the Oilers. And Connor McDavid and Draisaitl to knock off the Panthers. I got to tell you, George, last year, after they were down 3-0 and came back 3-3 and lost 2-1, I mean, I've said it on the show. I thought the Panthers got lucky. They won that game 2-1 at home in Game 7 because the Oilers played better than them in every game in 4, 5, 6, and 7, and they just didn't get it done. They ran out of gas, whatever it was. But I think they're lucky they got the cup.
Oh, I would agree. Listen, Florida's a great team, and they're the sort of the where they're built for the playoffs. They're really not built for the regular season. They're built for the playoffs. They're built for a 7-game series. They'll do the nasty things, right? The things you have to do: block shots, battle in the corner, play some little bit of dirty hockey here, right? And I think the reason why, Scotty, that I'm higher on Edmonton now is they're finally willing to do that too. All right, they're finally willing to do that too. They're not just a finesse team, right? A skills team. Of course, you got McDavid, you got Draisaitl, they're great, but they're willing to do the dirty stuff you have to do. Maybe it's Evander Kane bringing them all in for the action here, but you have to like the way the Oilers are playing here. I think McDavid also knows, hey, if I want to be considered one of the best players of all time, maybe the best when it's all said and done, I got to win multiple cups, not just one, but multiple, and I can't keep losing these cups here. So I think he knows that too. I think he wants to take the series over here. And listen, we saw it Alexander Ovechkin. Right? It took him a long time to win his first cup. And when did he do it? When he finally realized that he has to come back and back check, play a little defense there. And that sort of brings everybody else along with them. I think for the Oilers, it's always the same thing. When they see McDavid and Draisaitl doing some of the dirty things, the rest of the team comes along with it. I think this is the Oilers' year.
So Ovechkin got it done. Bork had to buy one to get it done. I've always said that every great player that I've ever seen in my lifetime, in your lifetime, George, we're about the same age, that every great player I've ever seen, I mean, I'm talking great players, have all won the Stanley Cup. That's all there is to it. This guy's winning a Stanley Cup, and I think the time is now. Now, I don't know about multiples. Now, I saw Lemieux win 2. I saw Crosby win 3. I saw Gretzky beat the Islanders after he had lost to him. I saw Crosby beat the Red Wings after he had lost to him. I think that's what McDavid's going to do. I want to ask you, like, he has to win a cup, at least one. Now, you talk about multiples. I don't know about that. I think it's a harder business now to win multiples. But if there was anyone that could win multiples of anything, it would be him, right?
It would be him, right? He is fantastic, all right? Have you and I ever seen a skater like him? Because if he's even, he's leaving. All right, no one can stick with him in the NHL here. And he's just playing great. He's got Draisaitl you can hand the puck to, and we know he's a super sniper. And you and I do go back to the 80s Islanders, right? And you're right. The Islanders won the 84 Cup. They lost in 85 to Edmonton. You bring up the other comparisons with Pittsburgh and Detroit there. Washington getting it done here. I think he knows he can't keep slipping on these chances here, not getting, not winning the Cup here. And is it unfair? Sure. I mean, he could have a mediocre team, and he's getting them to the Cup, but they don't have enough to get over here. That being said, I think they do have enough. Am I worried about Skinner and net? Yeah, probably not as much as I used to be. I used to be very worried about Skinner.
He's been great.
He just hasn't convinced me yet. He's been fantastic. I think he was maybe the main reason they beat the Dallas Stars here. But I'm a little slow to come around here. I feel better about him, but I'm still a little. I want to see him do it again, Scotty. I need to see you do it again before I truly believe here, because I know Bobrovsky probably won't slip up, right? He may not play out of this world, but he probably won't slip up either here. So I need to see Skinner be that guy here. He doesn't need to outplay Bobrovsky. That's asking too much. He just can't be anywhere near the goalie he was in the LA Kings series.
They're not getting down 3-0 this year like they did last year against this guy. They have to, in my opinion, they have to come out and these 2 games at home. Unequivocally, as far as I'm concerned, they have to win game 1 no matter what. Like if they lose game 1 and then have to go into the stress of game 2 having lost, it's going to smell like the same thing again as last year when they lost 3, but they lost the first 2 in Sunrise. Then they lost on home ice in game 3.
Not too much of the pressure will be on them, right? 'Cause everyone's going to keep talking. Here we go again, right? The pressure will be on Skinner. It'll be on McDavid, be on Draisaitl. That being said, they've handled pressure very well in these playoffs, right? They've lost, listen, he lost the first 2 to the Kings. It didn't seem to bother them. So I wouldn't completely panic, but I wouldn't be happy if they lost game 1. Not to mention, I want Edmonton in 6. I don't think it's going to go 7. I want Edmonton in 6, so I want them to win. I certainly want them to win game 1. You certainly can't get swept. Or if you get swept, I think it'd be too tall a task. You're going to win 3 at Sunrise now because Premier's got to win every game from there on out. So I don't see that happening either. I think they'll at least split here. And remember, the Edmonton ice is made for skill teams. It's the best ice in the NHL. It's been that way forever here. So I think Florida's going to have a tough time keeping up with them tempo-wise. They're going to want to slow this game down. 2 things I worry about. One, neither one of these teams has played in, a week? It's been a while. Do they come out skating in cement? You don't have your legs under you yet. How long does it take one team or the other to get that back here? Maybe it doesn't take long at all. Maybe it doesn't take any time here. But maybe one team takes half a period, something like that. That worries me. And, of course, the Zebras. How are they calling? If they're calling every little thing, that's major advantage to the Edmonton Oilers in that power play. If they're letting them play, then that's the advantage to the Florida Panthers. So I'm curious to see how that works out as well.
How much does the Heimlich maneuver being out of the series, Hyman, hurt them? Because he's another guy that's sniped.
It hurts. You can't tell me. I mean, of course, everyone's going to play it down. It certainly hurts. He's one of their better players. He's not McDavid. He's not Draisaitl, but he's a good complementary player there. He had a so-so season, better playoff seasons for them here. I wonder this, Scotty. In all our time covering sports, when have we ever seen a player have surgery immediately after the injury? And then they won't announce, they won't confirm whether it's wrist or shoulder, what his timetable is. I think they think there's a chance if this series goes 6 or 7 games that Hyman could come back, and that's why they're not telling us anything. It may not matter much here. It's just a conspiracy theory on my part there. But Hyman is definitely a loss. You can't tell me it's not for Edmonton.
So, I heard off the cuff that it was his shoulder, and if he tore his rotator and his labrum, he's finished. So let me ask you this question. Are you surprised that DeBoer has lasted through today after Ottinger? He threw Ottinger under the bus in his press conference, and that was the end of their relationship. And then other players have now come out and said that he's an asshat, and they're sick and tired of him. I cannot believe that guy hasn't been fired yet, to be honest with you, because once the players turn on you in the NHL, you're finished.
When he said what he said, I think I was watching on the NHL, like whoa. That's something you don't hear. Because let's face it, most press conferences are boring BS. All right, we don't care. But he raised some eyebrows there. But you already said the point, Scotty, and I agree 1,000%. If the players aren't behind you, they're not going to trade 20 players. They're going to get rid of the coach here. I don't know why he said what he said, especially we're not talking about an average goaltender here, a guy who's leaving the team here. You're talking about a franchise goaltender who's going to be there a lot longer than you either way here. And then when the other players pile on, that's gasoline on the fire here. Maybe they're waiting for a certain coach to become available. They want to check out their options. I don't know what the board's contract is offhand here, but I would be very surprised if he's still the coach of the team before the draft.
What is your opinion of the new GM of the Islanders? You like that he kept Waugh, and who do you think they take number 1?
Love that they kept Roy here. It wasn't his fault the team lacks talent here. And I love the fact that they went with somebody who can grow with the team, Scotty. The Islanders, if they do it right, you're 2 to 3 years minimum. Minimum 2 to 3 years. All right, so let someone grow with the team. You got to have patience there. In a perfect world, I would love to see the Islanders trade the number 1 pick and get some more assets. Just go down a couple of slots, not major. That's a perfect world. If not, take the defenseman. All right, you need a franchise D. You don't have one here. But they almost can't screw this up. I wouldn't take the kid from Long Island, Skanes. He's not worth a number 1 pick here. But he's the guy I'd like to grab if you traded down a couple of slots.
So they take the defenseman number 1 that's 17 years old. Does he start he starts in the minors, right?
Yes. Takes a couple of years for D-men.
Oh, George, you're great. Awesome.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers as a joke. Your boy went off about the entire situation and why it taken so long to forget him. Terry Bradshaw getting involved.
Yeah, and saying basically, what are you bringing him in for 1 year? All of this drama for 1 year at this guy, where he is now in his career is he's washed.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
My wife went to her 20th Dave Matthews show. I've never quite understood that. So once, I'll just tell the story. We're not on the air or anything. Once I went to her Dave Matthews show with her at Citi Field, and it was bad enough going to that dump. But, I didn't want to go at all. I'm like, Dave Matthews, man, this band sucks. And I'm like, I don't understand it. Like, what is happening here? So, when I was at the restaurant, since we're not on the air or everything, right before we left for the concert, after we ate a $1,000 dinner, I ate 2 caps of mushrooms and went to the show on my own and had my own fun at the concert. I didn't know anything about the band. I never heard. We're on the air. Oh. Anyway, let's talk about the Stanley Cup final. I wouldn't go walk around the corner to see that band. She's going to see some band again tonight, Dave Meds, and I'm like, have fun. I'll be with the kids. We'll all be doing bad things, felonies. I'll see you tomorrow. Yes. Have fun. Pick up a lover while you're down there. Have fun with that. Go ahead. I have at it. I will get a boy. Go ahead. I don't care. I don't know one song, so why would I go? Oilers coach Chris Knobloch. I promised this earlier. Joe wanted to hear from the losing team. Here we go.
We have a different mood. One, last year was new to us. We didn't know what the Stanley Cup Finals was going to be like. But also the way we went into this, Game 6 against Dallas, we didn't play our best game. We did win it, but it wasn't our strongest game. A little bit different. Game 5, we had the lead throughout. Felt good about that. But I think we just with probably the biggest change, the mood is just we've been here before. We've done the press conferences. We've answered the question about what it's like to be in the Stanley Cup Final. We know what to expect.
It's so boring.
We've seen this team before. There's a lot of familiar things about this. So I think everyone was just I don't want to say regular thing, but we're accustomed to it.
You know what? I can't wait till the season ends so I don't have to listen to him anymore. I got to be honest. I don't think one player, Joe, on that team listens to that guy at all. He's like a wax doll.
No, that's like listening and watching paint dry at the same time. That is absolutely horrific. I can't imagine him going into the locker room, unlike Paul Maurice, and lighting anybody up there. He might bore them to death. Maybe the threat of that might make them play a little bit better there, Scotty. But that to me is also another check in the Florida box, because I think Paul Maurice, when it comes to X's and O's, and drawing up game plans, I think Maurice will run circles around him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all right. You're probably right. I'm sick of you being right all day. It's been 3 hours of this, and I'm about fed up with it. I need liquor and other things.
Yes.
My thumb's broken. Stanley Cup Game 1 lines. Here we go with the Game 1 lines that Luke has drawn up for us. Look at that. Oilers favored in Game 1, minus $1.32, 6.5 the total. Obviously, Joe is taking the Panthers in every game.
No, I'll tell you what I'm also doing, Scotty. I'm taking the over in every game, too, as well. Because I'd have a hard time trying to sweat out an under with these two teams here. Because Florida, their game plan, Scotty, isn't to win one way. They can play any style of game that you want. You want to go up tempo, they're good to go here. I mean, they've had enough 4, 5, and 6 goal games during these playoffs to show everyone scoring isn't going to be hard to come by. So I just can't imagine playing an under and sweating out an under, not only in Game 1, but in any of these games when they're probably pulling the goalie, Scott, with 3 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go in the third?
How many guys like Bennett, Reinhart, he's been banged up, but Verhaeghe, Ekblad, how many guys they have
Lundell.
that can, Lundell, Kachuk, that can score goals for them? It is absurd because you talk about the Oilers.
Oh, what's that other guy's name, too? I can't remember. He's the young guy. Oh, yeah, Marchand, too, by the way. He's a Florida Panther.
Marchand.
Boston.
And then Barkov, we didn't mention. He's King Clancy and Selke winner. People don't even know what that means. It's Spanish. Anyway, series odds. Here's the series odds for Joe Ranieri. Oilers favored over they've gone to 3 straight Cup finals, and they've won the Cup last year, but they're dogs to the Oilers, who they beat. Are you surprised at this price?
It's a pick-em price to me, one way or the other, but anytime you get that plus next to her with the Florida Panthers, Scotty, all playoffs long, it's been an automatic bet. And yeah, what does that go to, Scotty, if they win Game 1 now? Are they a minus 150 favorite? So to me, go ahead and bet Florida now, while you can still get them at plus money.
So Barkov won the Selke for the 2nd straight year, and the Clancy for the 3rd time in his career. And I said yesterday, I've seen both of those trophies in the Hall of Fame on the 2nd floor of the mall. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
And the whole room is wooden. There's like wooden cabinets. It's very beautiful. All right, Conn Smythe odds. Here they go. McDavid, even money. Bobrovsky, Bob is plus 250. Barkov, 5-1. Draisaitl, Dirty Draisaitl, 7-1. Kachuk, 25-1. Bennett, 30. Skinner, 35. Marchand, 60-1. Verhaeghe, 66-1. Wow, can you imagine? Verhaeghe scores a lot of goals at 66-1. I'm going to put a couple shekels on Verhaeghe, even though I'm on the Oilers. That is an absurd number for Verhaeghe, in my opinion, Joe. He's a great player. He scores a lot.
I agree, but I'd also say if Edmonton wins this, you might as well have a couple of bucks on Skinner, too, because it means he played out of his mind, Scotty. It will be a big reason as to why they win.
Yanni Gourde signs a 6-year extension with the Lightning for $14 million. Jesper Fast retires after missing all of this year with a neck injury sustained in the finale of last season. He was only 33 years old. Very sad story. When we come back, we're going to get into the leftovers with Joe. It's been a while since Joe did leftovers with us. We're very excited about it. We're even going to hear from, it looks like, Kevin Stefanski. Very exciting here. What's going on. We've got NFL news, everything else in leftovers. And then we'll do the Ferrall finish, all with the mayor of Miami, Joe Ranieri, on C2C.
Falcons are actually relieved that he's kind of not there to create more of a distraction. Look, I mean, I said it the day it happened. It was one of the stupider decisions I've ever seen by a professional NFL franchise to sign a quarterback to a $180 million contract and then draft his replacement exactly 5 weeks later. This was a terrible organizational decision by the Falcons. Now, they're going to spin this, and this is what's annoying about the Falcons and their PR staff. They're going to spin this as if this is the plan we had all along. This is the plan that when, Kirk Cousins either got hurt or didn't play well or got too old, we were going to have Penix come in. And guess what? The new plan is now we're going to keep Kirk Cousins as a backup. So if Michael Penix gets hurt, we told you so. We were right for keeping him on the roster. We were smart for keeping him here. No, this whole thing has been an abject disaster.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers as a joke. Your boy went off about the entire situation and why it taken so long to forget him. Terry Bradshaw getting involved.
Yeah, and saying basically, what are you bringing him in for 1 year? All of this drama for 1 year at this guy, where he is now in his career is he's washed.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
What a day with the mayor of Miami, Joe Ranieri, having a great show. And then Mafia gave me a 2 out of 10 grade today. He gave Joe a 10. He gave me a 2. Time for leftovers. It's okay. Mafia's been very mean to me lately. Steelers expect to have a deal with TJ Watt by the start of the season. That's so exciting for everyone here in his older days. Steelers unlikely to trade for Jonnu Smith. CJ Stroud has done limited throwing during the OTAs due to his general shoulder soreness, but the team isn't worried. They're lying. Is there anything worse than a guy at OTAs that's already got shoulder soreness?
Yeah, that's a problem, Scott, and that's not a problem that's going to go away anytime soon here, unfortunately.
Pats have no plans to release Steph Diggs after his viral pink cocaine video. I thought it was a fantastic scene on that boat. I would have loved to have been on the yacht.
Yeah, that would have been good. What was in that bag, I wonder?
Yeah. We already know what was in the bag. Lions Pro Bowl center Frank Ragnow announced his retirement. He was 29. He had injuries. He has no idea about injuries. I could show him my thumb today. Longtime Vikings defensive end Jim Marshall passed away today at 87 after a long stay at the hospital. He held the consecutive games played record at 282 for decades until Favre broke it in 09 before he started becoming a felon. And I have to tell you, isn't Jim Marshall the guy that ran the wrong way into the end zone for a touchdown? I think he was.
I think you're right, Scotty. I think you're absolutely right. I didn't realize he was 80 some odd years old. Wow.
87. He was a legend on the Purple People Eaters with your boy Bud Grant, Joe.
Yes. Good point. That's right. Oh, those were some good teams. Unlike
they were like the Bills,
Browns.
4 straight Super Bowl losses. It was fantastic. All right, Ferrall finish. California dad catches an in-home therapist molesting his 14-year-old son with autism during a session. He just went to get a glass of water, and he came back to see that horrific scene. Horrible. I'm surprised he didn't kill him, to be honest. A madman launches a targeted terror attack with Molotov cocktails. You saw him in Boulder. A makeshift flamethrower. Your boy had a flamethrower going, injuring 8 while shouting Free Palestine at the Israeli hostages event in Boulder, Colorado. My guy was setting people on fire. until the po-po showed up and shut him down. By the way, in addition to the story, today the government arrested his wife and children, and they're all going to be deported. And the father's going to go to jail for the rest of his life, and probably not in a really nice prison anywhere in America. It'll be somewhere in like Honduras, and it's going to be awful, where they send the rest of those troublemakers. 334-pound man sues Walt Disney World. Joe loves Walt Disney World, but he sustained injuries on a water slide that allegedly did not support his 334 pounds, bro. My man's got sleep apnea. He snores. He loves potato chips, Lay's mainly, and did not handle the water slide rod very well when it snapped in half. A Louisiana woman beats a man with a baseball bat, leaves his crumpled body in the street where he's fatally run over by 2 passing cars with 4 axles. First, you get beaten by a baseball bat from a woman larger than you that had body odor, and then you're run over by 2 different cars. That is what I call, and I thought I was having a bad day breaking my thumb. Checkers employee allegedly shot and killed over a missing mayonnaise packet in the to-go bag. You just can't forget to put the mayonnaise in the bag. Otherwise, someone may come back and haunt your life forever, including killing you. A Florida doctor that Joe knows was arrested for allegedly firing a gun at teens who tossed cheese at his Range Rover. My man was just not having that sharp cheddar cheese plunking off of his expensive Range Rover. I mean, what is happening here? Former National Guardsman allegedly plotted an ISIS-inspired attack to shoot up a military base near Detroit. This is just another day in the Motor City as far as I'm concerned. Great job today, Joe. Fantastic work, Mafia and Luke. You know the schedule tonight. Check it out. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 on Coast to Coast.
No one is going to pick Indiana. No one's going to pick Indiana to make it close, honestly. Like, you can't really, you could get tremendous odds if you pick OKC in 7.
I think that taking the series over 5.5 games, the last 2 NBA Finals series ended in 5. I think this one goes 6. I think the Thunder will get the job done, but I think the Pacers are just too strong of a team and too talented of a team and too deep of a team to lose in 5 or fewer games.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks really got past that playoff dragon for them that really stood in their way. So for the New York Knicks to be the Celtics and then an outright favorite to win the Eastern Conference Finals, that's where the disappointment is.
The goalpost got moved, right? Because when you went into the Celtics series, a lot of Knicks fans said they weren't going to beat it. This, I'll say this is more unprecedented than the 99 run when they were the 8th seed.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Face. It's the new face. New face of what? The hell are you talking about? Like seriously. Oh, the new face of the NBA, Anthony. Yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Look, really? Guy's got 2 shots. You're the face of the NBA. Slow down. He's a good player. I've always thought the whole face of the NBA thing was comical. You want him to be the face of the NBA because you don't like it that all the other faces in the NBA aren't American.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
And if you go through Cat, that means Cat at 11-1 could be Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The worst team in the WNBA is the Chicago Sky. They have no perimeter play. They're playing too many minutes. And Angel Reese doesn't have the help she needs.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.